the Ninepenny Kings, while ideally would have been avoided, did do a lot more good than harm in the wider context of Westeros. No one wants a war. They are costly in both terms of money and in lives. But the biggest issue that wars in fact cause is political instability. How a king chooses to face a conflict can either bring the realm together or cause pre-existing divisions to widen even more. By the time of the attempted invasion of Maelys Blackfyre and the Band of Nine, it had been 64 years since Daemon the First Blackfyre rose up against his brother King Jaehaerys II in the First Blackfyre Rebellion, the most divisive war in the history of Westeros, other than the Dance of the Dragons. For years after, the wounds Daemon Blackfyre and Bitterstill had left would fester, with deep-rooted resentment from both sides. Despite a Targaryen victory in the war, it did little to soften the resolve of those who had fought for the Black Dragon, and who had suffered punishment as a result of their support, in the form of lands and titles being stripped, and wealth taken, and children made hostages. The truth is, by the year 260 AC, after 64 years and several generations, new lords had risen to power, and much of that anger and enmity dissipated. Thus, rather than the long-standing Blackfyre supporters rallying to the banner of Maelys, lords and houses from up and down Westeros instead rallied behind House Targaryen in a united front. The War of the Ninepenny Kings brought the lords of Westeros together as one in a way that had never happened before. For the first time in centuries, the great houses were all on the same page, and through it, friendships and relationships fostered that would define the next 50 years of Westeros. But another impactful consequence of the war that can equally be seen as impacting Westeros positively and negatively is the inevitable deaths of important people. For example, lords. Much of the hatred on both sides of the Blackfyre rebellions were deep-rooted on a personal level by the generation who lived through it, with several lords dying in 260 AC fighting in the Stepstones. For many houses, it meant the rise of a new young lord that would wipe the slate clean of the ills of the past. But there are also, of course, negative aspects to this, with these young new lords, in a lot of cases, being unknown entities entering the political fray with a fresh outlook that could often undermine the establishment. Thus, the War of the Ninepenny Kings would leave its fingerprints on Westeros for years to come. While of course it's true that unlike his father and grandfather during their respective wars, King Jaehaerys II remained in King's Landing for the campaign in the Stepstones, he still managed to provide a unifying banner for his lords to rally to. His son and heir, Prince Aerys, fought valiantly in the Stepstones. Only 16 years of age, the young Prince of Dragonstone fought alongside his two best friends, the heir to Storm's End, Steffon Baratheon, and the heir to Casterly Rock, Tywin Lannister. It is said that the three young men were inseparable, with the War of the Ninepenny Kings only strengthening their bond further. In fact, many lords saw reassurance in Aerys, Tywin and Steffon that the future for Westeros would be one of peace and prosperity in the hands of Aerys, with such strong future lords as his close advisors and confidants. In fact, Aerys is said to have fought so well during the War of the Ninepenny Kings it impressed many seasoned knights, and in doing so he earned his spurs. Of all the great knights present in the Stepstones at the time, the likes of Barristan the Bold and Sir Gerald Hightower, the prince instead chose his close friend, Tywin Lannister, to dub him a knight. As the war came to an end, and lords returned to their lands, there was a sense of confidence that one day Prince Aerys would make a great king if he had time to grow and develop, which is sadly not something he was given. The realm was at peace with the Blackfyre threat vanquished once and for all, and a new era of peace and growth looked to be taking shape under the watchful guidance of King Jaehaerys II. Many hoped it would be a reign as long as his predecessor and namesake, but it would not be, and some of the larger issues of his father, King Aegon V's reign, began to surface, with the voices of the lords now stronger than ever, thanks to the relationships forged during the War of the Ninepenny Kings. Though never strong, Jaehaerys proved to be a capable king. Despite this new unified front from many of his lords, he did manage to restore order to the Seven Kingdoms, reconciling many of the great houses who had been unhappy with the Iron Throne because of King Aegon V's attempts of reforms. At the cost of this reconciliation, however, were some of these very reforms that had been his father's legacy. In the end, King Jaehaerys II's reign proved to be a short one, in fact one of the shortest in the history of Westeros. In 262 AC, King Jaehaerys II suddenly and quickly sickened and died abed of a short illness. Court records tell us that the king had begun complaining of a sudden shortness of breath. He was only 37 years of age at his death and had sat the Iron Throne for scarce 3 years. While there seems no indication that foul play could have been involved in the king's death, how quickly he went from a healthy young man to his deathbed did raise eyebrows at the time. We will never know what truly ended Jaehaerys' life so suddenly. But what we do know is that with his early death, it left the ranks of the House Targaryen, in terms of family members, starting to dwindle. The Iron Throne would pass to his eldest son, the 19-year-old Prince Aerys, now King Aerys II Targaryen. While most were shocked of the sudden death of the king at such a young age, there was still relative calm across the realm as the young king took the throne, given all the promise he had shown thus far. For a while, that promise would shine through, but who could have known at the time the chaos that would soon envelop Westeros once again, this time changing the very fabric of the Seven Kingdoms itself. The downfall of House Targaryen had finally come, and it would be at the hands of this promising young King Aerys II, or as the history books would forever remember him, the Mad King.